Hello, everyone. We're really excited that you're here with us today to see communities. So the attendee number is still climbing a little bit. I'm going to wait just a second for that to even out so nobody misses the beginning. All right, looks like we're holding steady. So thank you for joining us today. We're really excited to show you the new customer community portal demo. This is launching today, so you're getting the latest and greatest information here with us. So we are broadcasting in GoToWebinar. Bill, if you can advance that slide there. So we're in GoToWebinar. We have you all on mute, but you can still engage with us. You can use that chat box there or the question box, either way, and we'll answer your questions here at the end. I'd like to introduce to you your speaker, Bill Siller. Bill is the Director of Customer Experience here at symplr. He's been in healthcare for about 15 years and with symplr for 2 of those years. He oversees the customer success team, and right now he is also overseeing our sales team. So Bill, do you want to go ahead and get us started?
Yeah, definitely. Thanks, Alex. I appreciate that. First thing that I wanted to mention is we're broadcasting live. We're going to be recording this session. So if you have anybody within your organization, or if you do want to go through and you want to take another crack at this, you'll have that opportunity. We'll be sending a link to this recording after this. Because of background noise, because everybody's working at home nowadays or in offices, we're muting lines, but you can feel free to ask questions anytime through the GoToWebinar question box, or you can email at communities@symplr.com. Again, that email is communities@symplr.com. So got some of the housekeeping out of the way. So to go through what our topics are going to be today, we're going to spend just a quick amount of time on the intro of what communities is, why we wanted to take this investment, and we wanted to get into this whole thing. The meat of what we'll be talking about today is actually showing you the application, showing you the customer portal, and I probably will say patient portal no less than 5 times, and that's just force of habit. I used to, like Alex said, I've been in the industry for 15 years. I used to work for an EHR company, so I will say patient portal, so I apologize right now. But a majority of our time we will spend on the customer portal and taking you through the aspects that we have available for that. And then at the very end, we will have some time for some question and answer. The demo doesn't take that long, so we probably will end early and have plenty of time for question and answer. With that, we'll take it into some of the things that we've tried to create with this customer portal. So one of the biggest things that we've tried to do with this is create transparency. And I always look at transparency as a two-way street. And we'll get into more of that on the next slide. But one of the things that we really want to do with this portal is that there's an ideas section within this portal. And this is where you have the opportunity to go in and you can put in ideas that you would like to see in enhancements for your product, so that we can take that. You can potentially vote on those different ideas, even something that you didn't submit, and you can put that in. So we want to understand what you're thinking about, how we can enhance the product going forward. So that's where we would need your participation going forward. When we talk about the why did we put in an investment into the customer community portal? Why did we want to have a customer portal? For the past year, what we've done is we've had net promoter scores, and we've reached out to customers in different fashions, whether that's by doing different surveys, through class surveys, by actually asking customers questions on what they want most or how we can make the customer experience better. The biggest thing that we heard from customers was that they wanted to have more transparency into just symplr in general. A number of things that they said were follow up on cases. They wanted to get a better updates and just a more frequent update on cases. Another thing they said is just having better access to product documentation and getting real-time access. So as soon as we have something available, you can get answers to your questions, or you can get access to that newest documentation that we have available. And then lastly, what customers said is that they wanted to be able to see what was coming up on our roadmap. And they also wanted to have a little bit of a word on that influence on our roadmap. So they wanted to determine what was going to be on our roadmap in the future. So in that previous slide, we had mentioned that we need your help. That's the aspect that we need your help, is that we do want to receive some of your influence on the roadmap, and we'll be taking you through that on the demo today to show you how you can do those types of things. Another housekeeping thing, just to get out of the way, we do have a legacy portal on the Cactus side that will be phased out on December 31st of 2020. So as of today, the new customer community portal that we have, that is up and live, and you can utilize that today. That old legacy portal, that will no longer be in use as of December 31st, 2020. So whatever language that you speak, goodbye, adios, sayonara, auf Wiedersehen, we're saying goodbye to that on December 31st, 2020. The things that we've tried to do with the customer community portal, with looking at our legacy portal, is we tried to give it a brand new user interface and experience. And one of the biggest things that we tried to find is a platform that would allow us to have not just limited usability, but we wanted to have functionality that could really build upon itself. This is just the first phase of the customer community portal, and what we're trying to concentrate on in this first phase is really 3 different things. So the first thing that we had talked about in that transparency side of things is the knowledge base. We ported over all of our knowledge base articles into this section, and you'll be able to see any types of frequently asked questions, any type of documentation that we have on our products that will be located in that section. Also, to be able to see real-time answers or real-time updates on your support cases, you will be able to see that. You'll be able to manage your support cases, so you'll be able to create support cases here, update support cases, and also see the updates that the symplr team is making to your support cases at any time. So you're not having to call in, you're not having to stay on hold. If you don't want to email, this is another avenue that you have with being able to create cases, but also to maintain them and see the progress of those cases. And then last, but definitely not least, we've integrated our ideas portal. Our ideas portal used to be called user voice, and this was much more on the Cactus side of things. They were using the user voice portal. What we've done is we've taken all of those suggestions from our legacy user voice portal, and we've migrated them over into our new ideas portal. There's a new look and feel that you'll see with the ideas portal. One of the biggest things that we got from a critique from customers was that they would put in something into user voice, a great suggestion, a great enhancement for the product, and then it would go into a black hole and they would never hear about it or see it again. We took that feedback, and one of the things that you'll see is that we have tried to pull back the curtain as much as possible so you can see those items that you put into the ideas portal, and you'll be able to view, submit, vote, comment, not only on your own items, but on other ideas that other people have put in. So you could vote on somebody else's idea that you think is a good thing that should be in the roadmap, and that's going to influence where that gets put in on our roadmap. So really trying to create a transparency and also trying to increase the customer experience when it comes to the products themselves. This is going to create much more of an interaction between the symplr teams, and then also you're directly linking it to that roadmap like we had talked about with that planning application. So just that gives you a quick idea of the 3 things that we're going to go through in this demo. So the knowledge base, support cases, and the ideas. This is all in phase 1. Another thing that I wanted to mention, I know that we potentially have a couple of EVIPS customers on. This first phase of the customer community portal is only live for Cactus customers as of today. The EVIPS customer community portal will be live in a not so distant future date, and we will be emailing when that date is going to be. We have a different support team from that uses for the EVIP side, so that's why there's different time periods on that, just because we didn't want to have all teams affected at the same time with us. So updates will be coming with that. With that, I'm going to go into the demo side of things so we can take a look at what that's going to look like. I'm going to move this over. You can see that I'm using Google Chrome. You can use any web browser to access the customer portal. I'm logging in as Tom Cruise, so I have a username and a password. First thing that I want to mention is that anybody that signed up for our webinar today, you're automatically getting registered with your email to this this customer portal. And after this event, you're going to be receiving an email with the link, with the username, and with your temporary password, and you'll be able to change that up the first time that you log in. So just wanted to set those questions aside. Another thing that we changed this morning, but we didn't get into the demo, is that we are going to have instructions. If you're a first-time user, or if you have somebody within your organization that's signing up for the first time to the portal, there's going to be instructions down here on how they can sign up for access to that. So that's all going to be taken care of. I'm going to log in as Tom Cruise. One thing I should mention is that because I'm using GoToWebinar, it's very slow. Our portal is not this slow in reality. So it's taking about 6-7 seconds to load the screens. It takes milliseconds to load when you're not bogging this down. The GoToWebinar bogs down your CPU, and that's why it's doing that. But here on your screen in front of you, you get to see the first glimpse of what the customer portal looks like. So you can see at the very top, we have our home bar, and this has those 3 items that we were talking about: our support cases, our knowledge center, and our ideas. At any time, you'll always be able to get to those things. They are hard-coded into the system so that whenever you're on any type of screen, you can get into those 3 key sections at any time. I will be going back to that in just a second. I have our home here selected, and you can see that the orange underline is underneath that. That's because it's showing that we've navigated to that home page. The next thing that I wanted to point out is on the home page itself, just a couple of things that I wanted to walk through. First and foremost, we've really tried to take our customer experience and take the user experience to a new level. And we're trying to do this with our products at the same time, is that we've tried to put this ask a question section so that if you're coming onto the customer portal because you have a support case or because you need some documentation, right here front and center, this is where you can ask a question, and this taps into that knowledge base. This ask a question goes through every piece that we have within our knowledge base that has anything to do with technical documentation, troubleshooting, and if you want to download any type of product, you can also do that within the knowledge center. But this ask a question is a search function of that. I will get back here and I'll go through and show you how you can ask a question, but I'm going to touch on these other sections in just a couple of seconds so you can see that. These 3 boxes that we have here are 3 banners that we have. So if you do want to take a look at a product demonstration and take a look at some of the applications that we have that you might not have live today, this is where you can take a look at the recorded demos that we have, and you can look through that recorded demo webinar. We also have our symplr resource center. This is where you can go through and find access to other recordings that we have that might not be product focused, but you can get into those aspects as well. We have this box to the right is going to be changing, so you can see that it's COVID-19 related. When we get closer to a major event that we're going to be having, or if NAMS is around the corner, you might see this banner change based on what symplr is doing to support that different thing. So you can click on this to see what we're doing for COVID-19, and you can see all the things that we have there. Also on the homepage, like I mentioned before, we're trying to make sure that we're increasing the user experience and make sure that it's efficient as possible. One of the things that we receive feedback from our users is that they wanted to be able to see open cases very quickly. So without having to click, they wanted to see all of their open cases, or they wanted to have very quickly be able to see all of those. This shows the open cases. They have our case numbers here. They have who put those cases in and the subjects related to those cases here. So I can see all of those support cases on our homepage. If I wanted to, I could click view all, and that will take me into the section that's up here in my support cases. It's another way that we can get into that section. Before we go into the support cases, I do want to mention about these 3 sections on the right-hand side here, and we'll be able to go on to those other sections. So in the top articles, this is showing the top articles that other users have selected and they've been clicking on. So the top product download at this time is our Cactus 4.1. Our top technical documentation are these different articles, and if I wanted to see them all, I could click view all. And then troubleshooting, these are our top troubleshooting articles that have been clicked on or have been searched upon by our different users that are using the customer portal. So this is just a way that you can go through and potentially find something that's trending within that section. Another question that we get quite frequently is that people are saying that they're missing their newsletters. If I wanted to, I can go through and I can type in my email here if you have not been receiving our newsletters, and you can make sure that you're receiving those symplr newsletters on that monthly basis. So that takes us through the homepage. So you can see a lot of information that we've tried to enter in on that homepage with the different banners that we have, your open support cases, the trending articles, and then you also have another way to get onto the newsletters. If I use that ask a question section, you can see that I've asked about ABMS. I'm going to put in ABMS in here. I have a question about it. You can see that it opens up the different articles that are related to ABMS. If I click on the magnifying glass, it'll take me into more of a structured view where I can take a look at all of the search results that return about those ABMS articles that we have. So you can see the different articles that I have. If I click on one of these, it will open up and I can see that the Cactus ABMS Direct Connect Select, and I can get into the different articles. I can see the files, I can download that, and that will all be listed out for me, which is great. Down below, I have files that I can also get into. So if I want to download the PDFs, I can see that instead of having to go in and taking a look at the article and having to print it out or something along those lines. I'm going to go back to the homepage, and just like I said, at the very top here, that bar is not going to go away. I can always utilize that to get to my different sections. So I'm back to my home section, and this is how I can get back to my home if I wanted to take a look at any of the sections that were there. I'm going to start with the my support cases, and then I'll work my way from left to right, and I'll finish it up with the ideas portal, since that's usually what everybody wants to take a better look at. We'll go into the my support cases. I have a couple of options that I can do with the my support cases. So first, I can take a look at all of my open support cases and all of my closed support cases from one view. So I can see here my closed support cases, open support cases here. By clicking on the blue, that will take me into the actual support case. So if I click on this case, you'll see that that opens up for me. I have the case owner, I have the status, I have the severity. It has all of the subject, the description, all of that is listed out here. Any of the case comments are listed down below, so I can see all of the relevant information upon this case as it's happening. If I wanted to make a new case comment, I can go over here to the right, add that, and this would show up for our support team so that they would be able to see any updates that you've had. So if you're trying to troubleshoot an issue with the support team, and if you're having a system that's going down, or if you're having a crash or something like that, and you wanted to notify the support team of a crash, you could put system crashed on 6:30 at, we'll say 12:19 p.m. CST. I will save that, and you're going to see that that's going to come in right here as a comment on that support case. That's going to go to the support team so that they'll have that. You'll also be able to see any updates to that from the support team will be listed in this section as well. I'm going to go back to the support cases, and I'm going to show you how you can enter in a support case. So this does not replace emailing or having a phone call. This is just another option that you have for putting that in. Some people like to put those types of things in into the section. One thing I do want to note is that the contact technical support, this is going to go to Cactus support. If you're putting in a case related to communities, it's here. So you can see for issues related to the community site, related to content, please click here. So this is how you can enter in a support case based on the customer portal. I'm going to enter in a support case based on Cactus. When I do that, it opens up the contact customer support page. It automatically puts in my username. This is where I can enter in what product that's related to, and this is going to show the modules that you have purchased within the Cactus application. So what I will put in for Cactus credentialing, I'll have that entered in. If there was a product subtype, you could list that out. If you know your version, you can enter that in as well, and that does help us to help identify problems when you enter in your version. If you notice that the subject has a star next to it and the description has a star next to it, these are meaning that they're required fields. Everybody's aware of those types of things. I'm just going to put in system down, and then I can put in the date on it. I can also put in the time. That will be located on here. If I wanted to put in a description, I can put that in. I can also upload a file if I need to. I can enter in these types of files so that they can be connected to, so if I took a screenshot or something along those lines, then I would have that into the customer portal. One of the things I should mention in the subject is if I had something that was related to ABMS, or if I had something that was related to CAQH or something along those lines, you might be seeing that this need answers fast is updating based on the subject. That's a really cool user experience thing that we entered into the system. So if you notice, I put in that ABMS, it automatically shows the articles that are related to ABMS. And the idea is that if you're typing in something and you see a frequently asked question that pops up, this is where you could potentially get your question answered by selecting one of these items and not having to put in a support case. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to make sure that if there is information that is available that can help you along and you can solve that issue in a quicker time period than having to have somebody from support join, this is just giving you that access to that information.
And Bill, we should add too that these cases on that login page, when you see your open cases or even the closed cases, that's for your organization. So it's not just the cases that you've logged, those are for your entire organization. So you have that view there as well.
Great point, Alex. And I apologize that I left that out. I'm just going to put in ABMS went down. I'm going to change my subject and I'll have that description in there. I'm going to hit submit so we can see what that looks like. And that's awesome. It created the case for me. It puts in the number so that I can see that. If I want to, I can go to the case number itself. And this takes us right back into that page that we were at before, where it shows us the receipt of the case itself, everything I entered. If I wanted to put in more information, I can go right back down to this case comments or add any files, and I'm golden again. If I go back to my support cases, we can see that the ABMS went down. That got logged here in my open cases so that I do have that. And just like what Alex said, you can see that I have Cameron Diaz here, and then I also have Tom Cruise here. So anybody within the organization will show up within this section. You're not just seeing what I have put in, you're also seeing what other people have put in. So that's a quick update on the My Support cases. I'm going to go into the Knowledge Center. We have our knowledge center separated into 3 different sections: our technical documentation, troubleshooting, and product download. If I click into that, I'll go into the technical documentation first. This is going to show our documentation, so you can go through, and the way that these are set up is based on how they're trending at this point. So you can see that the ABMS article that I clicked on before, that one is near the top because that is something that I've been clicking on quite frequently, and it shows the amount of views and things like that. It also shows the date of when that was updated, so you can see how fresh something is from a documentation perspective. If you click on those things, so if I click on the application manager 4.6, this is where I can get into that technical documentation. I can open that up and I can see what is behind that. So here's that documentation, and I can download that, I can view that, I can do all those types of things that I need to do with that documentation. We'll be uploading information in real time once we get that. I'm going to go back to the technical documentation screen. One of the things that I did want to mention is that we do have that contact technical support up here. So if you were searching for an answer and you couldn't find it, you can always click on the contact technical support button and you can start putting in a new support case. I'm going to go back to my knowledge center. If I go to troubleshooting, this is going to give me the troubleshooting question. So these are frequently asked questions that are being asked to support, and they're showing based on trending. This is how you can get in, and if you wanted to see, hey, I'm having a problem with App Central right now, and I want to see if there's some sort of troubleshooting measure around this, this is a way that you can go in and see if there's been an article that's been created on that. So this is another way, instead of having to put in a support case and having support call you back, this is a way that you could potentially get that resolved on your own in a faster manner. We want to make sure that we're empowering you as much as possible. And then lastly, our product download section. This is where you can download the version of the system that you want. So here's where we have Cactus 4.1 available. You can download this from that perspective, and you can get moving with that. Again, at any time, you can contact technical support, and you can get moving with that if this does not fix your situation that you have. Last but not least, I wanted to move to the Ideas portal. On the Ideas portal section, this is where you can enter in new ideas. This is where you can vote on ideas. This is where you can also see how items are moving in that. So these are, all of these things that you're seeing have been put in by users as enhancements for Cactus. So you can see that mimic the look and functionality of Visual Cactus 3.14. That has 103 upvotes from users that have been logged into our system and have been looking at this. So that was something that was updated 6 days ago. You can see who the user was. You can see what product it was on that. And you can also see that there's a number of comments that are situated on that. If I click into that item, I can see everything that was first created for that issue. I can see what the admin response was for that item, and then I can see all of the comments that were put in by different users. This does not have to be the comments from the different users do not have to be from the same organization. They can be from different organizations asking clarifying questions or just saying that they really like this feature in that comment section. These comments really assist us to ensure that we understand what the users want, and that we can, it also helps us put that on the roadmap to understand if this should be something that we should take a closer look at, or if this is something that might be out of scope of where we're trying to go within the future. So you can see that here, some cool stuff with the posting comments. You can also attach a full file when you're posting a comment. You can see who voted on it from a user perspective, which is pretty cool. And again, this this voting and these comments, this is helping to drive our roadmap. It's not the only component that's driving our roadmap, but it's a large component that is really assisting us and letting us know what customers want within the system. I'm going to go back to the ideas portal so that you can see that. If I do have something that I wanted to vote on, I can click on the vote section here, and you can see that that jumped up for the salutation. When I clicked on that, that jumped us up to 56 votes instead of 55, and it also locks that in green. If I want to take away my vote, I can click on it, and you can see it took it away, and it went back to gray and went back to 55. On the left-hand side here, this is how you can filter out all of the ideas. So the way that we have the ideas set up here is that they're by trending. You can also take a look at them by popular, recent, and you can search different ideas if that's another way that you want to look at it. If you want to filter ideas based on their category or their module, you can also do that. So if I only want to see the application manager enhancement requests, I can go in and I can take a look at all of those, see if any of those have anything to do with my idea, and then I can go in and I can vote on it as well. But based on the voting, based on the ideas that are in here, we have ported over all of those issues, or not issues, but enhancements that were suggested by users in the past. I'm going to go back in to add a new idea, show you how to put that in. First thing it does when it asks for a new idea, this is where you can put in what product that you're doing that for. I'm going to select Application Manager. When I put in Application Manager, it's going to ask me what the first one sentence idea of what one sentence summary of my idea is. I'm going to say optical character recognition for driver's license to populate. That'd be pretty cool if you were a doctor and you just took a scan of your ID and that populated. Who would use this? Is it me, my team, multiple teams, all product users? Be all product users. And then please add more specific detail. Provider scans their driver's license and it populates App Manager. If I want to, I can attach a file. I'm going to hit Share Idea. And now it's been put in. I voted for myself automatically. I'm back in 3rd grade where I'm voting for myself. So you can see that it has that vote 1. That's now being entered into the system. So people can go in and they can start entering in items, or they can start voting, posting comments on your system. The one thing I will tell people is please be polite when you're using this. Don't be rude when you're posting comments. I don't want to see something like scanning your driver's license is a dumb idea. Try to be civil while we're using this, please. If I want to, I can edit my idea. I can unsubscribe from it. So if I didn't want to get ideas, or I didn't want to get updates on the upvoting, or get when people are commenting on it, I can unsubscribe from it so that I'm not receiving those notifications. And then also we do have related items that have to do with what's going on within our knowledge center, so that you can click on those and see if we potentially have something already planned out for that. Going back to the ideas portal, that's pretty much it. So you can see that we have all of our ideas here. You know how they are all situated. You can search, you can vote, you can go through and you can filter them, add new ideas. It's good and great. I have my my home bar up here at the top. If I click on home again, I'm back to that first screen that we were at, and I can navigate through. Just like Alex said, this was our first iteration of the customer portal. We are looking to add more functionality in the future, and we'll talk about that in future sections. Whoops. let me get back to the PowerPoint here. So we have a phased approach. This first phase just has those 3 items that we had mentioned with the knowledge base, support cases, and with the ideas portal. We are trying to, one of the other things that customers have said is that they want to communicate more with each other. That's coming in a future phase. Also, other products, EVIP's user base, you'll be getting onto this customer portal very soon. The Cactus user base is available today. One of the things that we mentioned at the top is all the Cactus credentialing customers that you're attending this webinar, you will automatically receive that email. You'll be getting an invite to log into the portal, so you'll have that. Any customers that have logged a case within the last 6 months, that will automatically receive portal access as well. And then anybody that's outside of that, the way that you can request portal access is by going to communities.symplr.com. That takes us through, that is it. That takes us through Q&A based on everything that you've seen here. We can ask any types of questions. Hopefully we hit the mark. But Alex, do we have any questions that we can go through with anybody?
Awesome. Not yet. While you're submitting your questions, I'll give those just a minute to come through. We did want to let you know that the next demo for our provider credentialing software, also known as Cactus, will be on July 28th with Rachel Robinson. So we're really excited to show you more of that. I know we had one just about a week ago, and we're going to continue to update you about our progress on the product on a monthly basis. So that's really exciting. The invite for that will go out on the week of July 6th. So expect that in your inbox. You'll automatically get an invite. And if you don't, feel free to email us. We can make sure you get one of those. So yeah, we have our first question about resetting our password. So there will be directions in the email that you get on how to do that. So like Bill mentioned, once we finish today, it'll probably be later this afternoon, you will get an email with your username. It'll send you a link and it'll ask you to reset your password. It'll have directions on screen there.
Right, and one other thing too, Alex, is that if you want to reset your password while you're in the application, you can go to My Profile. This is a section that I didn't get into, but this is where you can change some of your preferences, and you can change your own password within this section. So you do have options to do that as well.
And one exciting thing, I know Bill didn't touch on this yet, but for our roadmap for future for communities, one of the things that's been heavily requested by our customers, but it's a bit of a heavy lift, is a forum. So we're really excited. We will be having a customer forum. We've asked, how do I get in contact with other Cactus customers? I'd like to talk to them. How do I talk to people in my region? So that is something that is on our radar that we will be adding. But again, we wanted to get this out to you sooner rather than later. So rather than wait for that forum functionality, we will be offering that later. There have been a couple questions about getting a copy of today's webinar. We are recording this, so we will be sending that out in an email to you with a link to view that. This question asks, how do we know which items are seen by our organization versus all organizations? That's a good question. So in terms of the cases, those are only seen by your organization. The Knowledge Center articles are available to everybody. The ideas that you submit are available to everybody. You can vote on that submitted by any organization, as well as the comments there. If there's something specific you're wondering if other people can see and you want to clarify, feel free to drop that in the questions box, but I think that pretty much covers it.
Yep, and I think there is a public or private toggle on the ideas. Alex, so that might have been more related to what the question was. So if I go to My Ideas and I go to the optical character recognition, it says private right here. So there is a toggle where you can have that set. We can answer that in a follow-up. I'm unsure if everything is private for the start and then it becomes public after that. Yeah, I think that's how it works actually. It's private until we take a look at it and then we make it public.
And if you, as you get into the system and start using it, if you have any feedback or you encounter any issues, that community's email address that we gave you is the best way to submit that. So if you have questions specific to communities, we can address that through that communities@symplr.com email. And if there's another question about removing a user, we are, again, looking to expand the permissions here, but for now, you'll have to email that address, communities@symplr.com. So let's say you have a user that's left your organization, you no longer want them to have access. If you email us at communities and let us know who that user is with their email address, we can remove that for you. All right, there's another question. I'm not sure if I know the answer. Maybe you do, Bill. If not, we can follow up in an email. But Teresa's asking if they can sort by date in the open cases. Do you know if that's possible?
I think you cannot.
Okay.
You can only sort by the case number, who put it in, and the subject. We can add that pretty easy.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty easy functionality to add. So thank you for the suggestion. We can get that in there. And then in terms of I just wanted to go back for a second to removing an employee. It will be self-service soon. Again, that's part of our phased approach, is getting this just up and available to you, and then we will be adding that functionality. Oh, I'm hearing from our team that it's going to be updated this afternoon, actually. So there you go.
Fast.
Okay.
And that was one of the reasons why we chose this portal in particular, is because it is very nimble and we can make changes like that pretty quickly.
Perfect.
It was a bear to get started, but once you have the framework together, then it's really easy to add on certain pieces.
All right, it looks like that's it for questions. Again, if you have anything else, that email address, communities@symplr.com, we can answer any of your communities related questions there. Again, expect an invite later this afternoon to access the system. We're really excited. We've had a few customers that have been beta testing it and they've been really happy with it. So we hope you find it easy to use and incredibly helpful.
Awesome. Thanks everybody, really appreciate it.
All right. Thank you.